Well, you guys, what do you think? Is there a right and a wrong way to do a trick? I personally am of the belief that there is actually some correct and some improper ways of doing tricks to try and sugarcoat the words a little bit. But I'm really eating my own words on this today because I so arrogantly just made a video telling everybody the right way to slappy and how to not do it the wrong way, to only find out that I'm still not doing it the right way. So a quick refresher for anyone who missed it. Basically what I said was stop doing your slappies wrong. Stop cheating, riding up to the curb like a toddler and using your front truck and your nose to lift your back truck onto the curb. I so proudly realized that I could actually, if I put all my weight right here, I could get onto here and get into a nice slappy. And I genuinely thought I was doing it right. But after reading the comments, I really quickly realized that I still have room for improvement. They said I'm cheating because I'm lifting up the front. What I should be doing is, like, if you really know how to do them, you should be able to do it with both your feet on the bolts. And so as you carve, you aim your front truck at it, your nose should go like slam, which is what's supposed to make the slap sound, and then both trucks go on. So like your front truck hits first, and then your back truck. And what's interesting is I was kind of on that path to begin with. So listen to this clip that I actually deleted from the last video. Here is how I finally figured out how to slappy properly. So it started out by, again, doing a whole bunch of toddler slappies. And slowly, what I started to figure out was that if I aimed my front truck at there and I kind of visualized my front truck slamming on, then my back truck would fall into place. This was still wrong. So as you could see, my natural progression in learning this trick was that I did learn that if I hit my front truck first, my back truck follows. But then I managed to bypass it by doing it the other way that I explained in the video that I thought wasn't cheating. So all of that brings me to the idea, is there really a right way to do a trick? Because I got that comment a ton in my how to frontside 50-50 on transition properly video, that a lot of people, were pretty upset because they're still doing it like a street skater, as I said. We'll get to that at the end of the video. We'll really get into the theory as to whether or not there's a right or a wrong way to do the trick. But first, what I want to do is I want to take the information from the comments and try to see if I can actually learn how to do a slappy without using my tail anymore and just carve into it and bash both trucks onto it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna warm up real quickly on the ramp. Maybe we'll film a few slow-mo tricks before I get ready to actually start trying to bash into that curb properly. These blazers that I wore and reviewed last summer are feeling a bazillion times better than the Dunks. I can't believe how nice it feels to be back in a vulcanized shoe, especially an old broken in one. Like, tricks on the mini ramp are feeling so much more effortless than they were in the Dunks. But anyways, that's not what we're here for. First, I'm gonna warm up on a few frontside slappies. I mentioned in my last video that I still kind of have to cheat on those. I need to put my foot on the nose and get a little leverage off the front truck. But let's do a few of those and take a look at them, see if I can actually try and slam a few into it with my foot further back than the nose. So as you can see, I'm definitely still using a lot of front foot to kind of leverage myself up there, but I'm getting the right idea in using that front truck to hit first and then slam the back truck on. I wouldn't say I'm using my tail in this instance. Yeah! So as you guys can see, as soon as I take my foot down even like an inch, I do the world's sweetest wheelie, which means I need to lay into it and carve more. But I'm gonna try a couple more, but I'm not planning on getting those dialed in today. Woo! One more try. Oh, one more try where I at least get my truck on. That last one was for sure a legit frontside slappy. It's a lot harder and really frustrating, as you can see. Like, my land rate goes way down. Maybe I should just like start doing super legit willy slappy. That sounds so bad. Slappy willies, willy slappies, they both just sound bad. All right, now it's time for me to actually try and redeem myself from my last video and do some slappies without using my tail. And this is gonna be a bit of a challenge, right? And I wanna really quickly say, you guys, again, I don't care how you do it. It was a little bit embarrassing for me to like so righteously claim that I know how to do slappies and then be so wrong. Nothing wrong with eating a little humble pie, but let's see if I can get a legit slappy here. All right, that one was legit, guaranteed. I could feel both of my feet were definitely, like, I didn't use my tail to leverage. Yeah, that actually felt kind of cool. It's still way harder for me than the regular way, but there's something kind of surfy and rad feeling about not actually using the kicks of your board at all. I will admit, you guys, it actually feels pretty cool when you do it without using even your tail. It really is. So like the way I mentioned in my last video, how I like do a one wheel manual and then slam into the curb and I don't use my front truck, I honestly feel like that's actually easier, and maybe that's why some people are like, that's why you're still cheating. But yeah, I definitely land those way more. I mean, of course, this is, you've seen literally every attempt I've actually tried of the like feet over trucks, carve harder into it. And that really is what it is. It is just even like a harder, surfier carve. Now, I do think that all three of these methods could be used to slowly learn how to slappy, because that is kind of how it's worked for me. So if you want a hack to get started on slappies, do the using the nose toddler slappy. Like, do that one first, because it's at least going to teach you how to like get that front truck in, carve in, and then the second one that I showed you guys where you're doing the little one wheel manual slide into it, that one also works really well for helping you get the kind of baby steps. But yeah, if you really want to get it, it is just that like hard, almost 90-degree carve into the curb. I would say that I think I can actually get up on top of and stand on them longer when I do the one wheel manual scoop one, but who knows? And you know, in spite of my last video and the 50-50 video, I don't really care if it's right or wrong. Like, if you're getting up on that curb and grinding and having fun, do it however you got to do it. Now, before we talk about whether there is a right or a wrong way to do certain tricks, I want to get a few slow-mo curb tricks just for fun. I would say slappy feebles are probably the second easiest slappy grind. The first being slappy crooks, which we'll get into in a second. But in one of the comments, the one I actually pinned on my last video, he mentioned that doing feeble grinds also works better when you slam your front truck. I'm not even gonna try that. I got my feebles dialed in. I only miss maybe like 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10 if I'm not trying to do them really long. So honestly, in this case, I'm gonna say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I personally really like to lift my truck over the curb so that it clears it, and then I get on and lock in. And the hardest thing about a slappy feeble is, like, if you've been doing feeble grinds on flat bars and stuff like that for a long time, The hardest thing to figure out about a slappy feeble is how far you have to lean back to hold your grind on a curb. It's very different than a rail, which you just pinch, sit on top of a well-waxed rail. A curb, you got to get so far back on the corner of your tail to hold those. The hardest thing, in my opinion, is coming out of those early, which I've only done a couple of them. I say, let's try and get one of those, huh? I'll start at the start and try and pop out early. I'll take it. I really don't need to do more than one of those to feel like I did it, because I did it. Whew. Well, it was a fun session. Slappy front crooks are so fun. I'm gonna say one thing about slappy crooks, you guys. If you ever learn them, you will never be impressed by them ever again. They're not that hard. They're way easier than regular crooked grinds. It's easier than you think to get up on top and stand on it. And I think the reason is because you're not coming down onto the ledge, you're climbing up onto a curb. So you're not having that downward force taking away all your momentum, so it's easier to just kind of climb up on top of it and hang on. So that's why I can slappy front crook like no tomorrow, but like I can't do it like that regularly. They're like 1 out of 10 at best. Anyways, let's talk about if there's a right or a wrong way to do a trick, because I think this is where economy of motion starts to come to play. In that video, I said that anyone who is doing double heel side 50-50s on transition is doing it like a street skater, and that seasoned transition skaters cross-lock their front 50s. And of course there was tons of blowback, people saying there's no right way to do a trick. And so here's where I start to disagree. When you start to watch all the most skilled transition skaters and you start to look at their frontside 50-50s, you'll see that they're cross-locking it. And it's really hard to find because it's not a common trick. The only clip I really found was Andy Anderson doing it in one of Dan Corrigan's video. He's cross-locking all his front 50s. So here's where the economy of motion comes in. The fact is, it's the simplest and most effective way to get into your grind, stay into your grind, and come out of your grind without losing a bunch of speed and having awkward motions. That is why most skilled skaters start to do it. So let's take another trick where you can take that same theory, but it starts to not apply. A hard flip. The hardest way to do a hard flip is a frontside shove-it kickflip. Very few people do them like that because it's the hardest way. However, if you take a hard flip to its logical extreme, doing it the easier and easier and easier way, you eventually get an illusion flip, which is mostly a pop shove, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Like an illusion flip is its own trick, it's not a hard flip. So once the kickflip starts to go away and that board starts to like do its weird not hard flip, then again that economy of motion has gone too far and it's not the trick it was intended to be. So that's where I think that there is a right and a wrong way to do tricks, and that most of the time the right way to do the tricks is kind of found accidentally and just slowly, like it evolves into the trick that it's ultimately intended to be, because skilled skateboarders find the easiest and best looking way to do something. So that's what I think. That's my opinion. So in spite of what a lot of people in the comments say, there's no right or wrong way to do a trick, there's equally as many people saying, yeah, there is a right and a wrong way to do a trick. And that was proven by my slappy video. Say, you know, I wasn't doing it the right way, so I had to figure out what's the right way to do it. For me, actually, that's the harder way. My, little use my tail hack that I didn't know I was doing is definitely easier. And I might keep doing it because I found that I've mentioned so many times I have an Achilles problem, and slamming into the curb with my front foot like that was kind of hurting my Achilles. So for the time being, I might keep doing my own little cheat. I'm okay with it. But anyways, I'm done talking about that. One last thing before we close out, I'll show you guys my setup and let you guys know a trick that's coming back after the meniscus injury. So as you guys can see, I'm still on the Manderson, I'm still on the Thunder Standards. The madness I had lately is I put on conical full 53 millimeters, and I did that because I can't really do all my tech tricks, so I wanted a fast wheel that could slam into curbs and skate transition really well. I also put my back truck on the front, so you can see that's why I have a feeble grind on my front truck and why it's axled there. And what it's doing is I thought it would start to even out here, but all that's happening is it's slowly getting carved out more and more there. So I still have this weird groove in my front truck, but at least we're getting some crook grooves again. I'm not crazy about it, but it's better than just tossing the set of trucks. Back truck is starting to get a nice feeble groove. But it looks kind of funny because it's my old front truck, so it looks like I'm really sweet at doing switch front crooks. And the last thing that I was gonna say is my 360 flips are finally starting to come back. I haven't been able to do them since last September, basically, before I hurt my knee, had the torn meniscus. I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to do them. You guys, I've managed to not do surgery and it is getting better. So I don't know what to tell you. I could make a whole video just about that, which I probably will, but I want to just wait longer and get more tricks back and see how it goes. But I mean, I'm really stoked, you know, because I've had surgery for that exact same injury before. I tore my meniscus about 8 years ago, had the surgery, took me 6 months to stop regretting it, and this time I haven't, and my recovery rate seems to be about the same. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, 360 flips are back. I'm still not confident. My number one problem with doing them is that I'm not actually confident to scoop because of so many months of like pain and worry from that knee. But it's funny because now that's my good leg because of the Achilles in my left leg. Anyways, that's all I have to say. I'm actually done. I just wanted to make an update video. I wanted to admit that I was wrong in the slappy video, and I wanted to just say hi, share some more stuff with you guys. Now I'm gonna go on vacation for a little bit, so 3 videos in a row and then there won't be anything for a bit. I hope you're doing awesome, you guys. I hope you're having a really good time on your board. And if you're not on your board, I hope there's a lot of other really fulfilling things happening in your life. Just want to say thanks for watching. Till the next one.